Hello and welcome to episode 72 of the Critical Twits gaming podcast, where today we look at 5 RPGs you can play in between games of your main campaign. Welcome to another episode of the Critical Twits gaming podcast. I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Aaron Ravinsky.
And there's no one else.
No.
She should have said, and I'm Aaron Ravinsky.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. It's not a list. The comma is not required.
Oh, well.
You normally go second, though, so I can see why it would have,
just natural comma.
You.
Yeah.
We're here in my oven. It's not as hot as it has been, but it's still fairly warm.
Yeah.
So if we sort of trail off into silence, it's because we've passed out into sweaty heaps upon the floor. But enough about us. How are you? Today we're going to be talking about RPG games again.
Yep.
Tabletop role-playing games for the uninitiated. And we're going to continue with our RPG Basics series. So far we've talked to you about creating interesting characters, then binding them together into coherent parties. Using egg wash and breadcrumbs. And we also had a bit of a chat about GM tips for beginners, so actually the running the game side of things.
Massive whips. Yeah.
Now, one of the suggestions we made for beginning DMs or GMs or storytellers or big cheeses, grand poobahs, story people in chief, fun coordinators.
Ooh, fun coordinators.
Fun coordinators, yeah. Yes. Was rather than diving in with a giant campaign, game after game, set in the same world with the same characters, using the same rules, was actually to try maybe running a one-off session.
Yeah.
And just kind of dipping your toes in, playing something new, playing something different maybe, or playing in something that you already know, but without that burden of trying to think 4 sessions ahead.
Yes.
For what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we carried on talking about this after the podcast, and we thought actually it's fairly common for people to, in between games of their big campaigns or between story arcs or between one campaign and another, to play other things.
Yeah, definitely. You can get tired.
Yes.
Of a system, of characters you're playing. I mean, I've definitely played in Mutants, and I love the game, I love the system, but I've had characters who I've liked when I started playing them, got through and went, I need to be more of a horrible human being, or mutant in Mutants' case,
yes, yeah.
Rather than trying to be pleasant and cohesive. I need something to bounce it out with.
Yeah, it's nice to... I like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But would I want to only watch Game of Thrones forever?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I like playing games, but would I want to play the same board game every single week? Some people do, and that's fine, you know.
That's what they enjoy. It's all good.
Yeah. But it's really nice to be able to take a break from that main campaign and try something different, try something quirky. I know a lot of role players are quite creative and they might come up with some really interesting character ideas. But when you're 16 levels deep into a 4-year-long Pathfinder campaign, there's not a lot of opportunity to just go, I want to be someone else.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
No.
So it's really good to be able to play some different things from time to time. And it's a really good outlet for giving the DM a break.
Yes.
Or for, as we said, letting a new DM have a go without having to secure, months of game time to do so.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about The Quiet Year, Fiasco, Paranoia, Goblin Quest, and The Sprawl.
Ooh.
So there are five games. They are not, by any stretch of the imagination, the only 5 games that you could play between.
No.
You could, we have broken up a Pathfinder campaign with one-off sessions or sort of 2 or 3 little gaming sessions linked, but a sort of one-off adventure of Pathfinder.
Yeah.
When we used to play lots of Pathfinder.
Yeah, and that can work sometimes, especially when you've got a complicated system like Pathfinder. You can still keep your gaming head into the system, but allow you to play around with the other ideas, like you said, that you've had.
If you're playing something like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, quite often what I found is that people get new source book syndrome.
Yeah.
That sounds official, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it, new source book syndrome. So where a new book has been released and one of your players has run off and gone, I love tieflings and this is the ultimate teeth fight. because that's the voice they use, these people that like tieflings. And they have, they've got it and they want to go, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to, can my character now be a tiefling? I want to change everything. And sometimes, trying to crowbar these things in doesn't really work.
Well, that's what the polymorph spell's there for, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if your racial feats would be updated. Heading into proper Pathfinder nerdistry now.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Probably a little bit deeper than you've ever been before, Aaron. It's one of those things I found is sometimes players halfway through a campaign will want to change their character or want to do something, and actually going, well, why don't we do a tiefling session where you play a band of tieflings that are a touring minstrel group, and you travel from town to town and no one ever lets you settle, and you use magic in order to enhance your shows because you've all got demon magic.
Yeah.
But something bad's going to happen and you're going to get involved in something and then it's going to be done. It'll be like a film rather than a long-form TV show. Yeah. I want to run that game now.
Yeah, I'm actually quite intrigued.
The touring minstrel group of tieflings that might not... It's just a costume, mate. These aren't real horns. Cough. I want to play it. So, you might find as a DM that you have ideas that don't fit your main campaign.
Yeah.
Or you might find, as a player, that what you're into at this moment isn't what you were into when you started playing the campaign. So, for instance, we've gotten into a big sort of cyberpunk kick recently.
Yeah, a lot of those sort of games. But that came about because we'd gotten kind of tired of the fantasy side of things, I think.
Yeah, we played a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yeah, as well.
Which was kind of a reaction. We went into sci-fi from playing fantasy and now into a different type of sci-fi. And I'm sure in 6 months' time, we'll be going, I want to swing a broadsword again.
Yeah.
A broadsword. It's been a while since I've swung a broadsword. So, yeah, it'd be quite cool to maybe try something and mix up the tone, etc., etc. Any other reasons why people might want to... Mix it up, change it.
Tired of the systems themselves.
Yes.
Pathfinder itself can be wonderful for pure role playing at times, but it's very system heavy.
It's crunchy as unprocessed peanut butter.
Yes,
which is just peanuts. Actually, now I think about that, that simile a little bit more.
Peanuts with some butter smeared on top. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Palm oil. Bloody palm oil farmed from third world countries. Politics.
Yeah, and you get tired of your mass-produced third world destroying palm oil Pathfinder campaign.
I found out when we've been playing a lot of Pathfinder, and it's been quite combat heavy, or at the higher end of it where you're sort of level 16 and a combat takes all night.
Yeah,
there's a bit of my brain that thirsts for more pure storytelling.
Yes,
and sometimes when we've been playing a lot of system-like games, my brain's been like, I want to do some tactics.
Yes.
I want to crunch some numbers and roll a huge handful of dice. Yeah. So, you bounce around.
Yeah, because nothing is perfect. No system fits that criteria all times. And like you said, your whims and changes, because these things last months at times.
Yeah.
And you're going to get your attitudes change. Players are going to disappear. It's probably another one of them.
Yeah, if we've been playing the Sprawl when other people haven't been able to make our main game of Gen Lab Alpha.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, Aaron. Which has been fine. The last couple months have been a tricky time we've got people at university.
Yeah.
We've had people working quite heavily. There's been all sorts of problems, so we've used these other games as kind of a way of doing some different bits and pieces as well.
Yeah.
So, lots of reasons there to have a go at this and to mix things up.
Yeah.
Shall we start with The Quiet Year?
Yes, I think we should.
The Quiet Year is available online.
Yep.
I think it's a pay-for-a-download game. It's quite small. It's probably only about 30-odd pages in the book.
Yeah.
It's by Avery Alder, published by Buried Without Ceremony.
I like that. I love that name.
It's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a good name. Have it on your headstone.
Yeah.
Aaron, we played this
did.
About 6 months ago.
Yeah, about that.
Tell the lovely people at home what it is.
Okay, it is essentially a cartography RPG.
Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah. And it's something you don't use very often. You use maps loads in RPGs, but this one makes you design it from scratch.
Yes.
So you don't play individuals as such. in the Quiet Year. You play a community of survivors of some form. And you are essentially trying to get your community from the start of a good year. You've just got over a major disaster.
Yeah.
Things are looking okay, but you know the frost giant, not the frost giant.
I think it's the ice giants or the frost. There's some giants. They seem frosty.
Yeah, are coming in the winter at some point. So you're trying to get everything as nice as possible before that happens, ideally.
Yeah.
So you'll sit around a table with a blank piece of paper, and everybody draws an element of feature for the map.
Yeah.
Could be a group of trees, a high-rise building, a burnt-out car wreck. But no words, all pictures.
It's all pictures,
Everything is pictographic. You have one resource, and it doesn't have to be something like water or iron or anything like that. It could be happiness or anything you like is in abundance. So one of those resources is really there, and the other elements that you've picked on the map are scarce.
Yeah.
So you're struggling for those things.
Yeah. So we've got plenty of burnt out cars.
Yep.
But not a lot of mountains.
No.
Rocks. Stone.
And then each player takes a turn drawing a card from a deck of cards that represents a week within each season.
Yeah.
And you develop your community and the story of how your community is existing from this.
Yeah, most of the cards will give you a choice of some kind.
Yes.
They might invite you to add something to the map.
Yeah.
They might invite you to expand on something else that's happened.
Yeah.
And to say what the community does in response to what's going on.
Yes.
So you kind of you take turns role playing as the community. There's ways of sort of having meetings within the community.
Yeah.
So you might decide, actually, we need water. That's a scarce resource. So someone will call a meeting. There'll be a vote, and then you'll have sort of lay out these little story elements.
Yeah.
It's not highly formalised. There aren't, apart from sort of the table for the cards that you draw.
Yeah.
The rules are fairly slim.
Yes.
It's a very few pages,
which works really well once you wrap your head around it. I think it just takes a little bit to get used to because it's so pure storytelling.
Yeah.
But it does allow you to craft either a community for a roleplay system you want to play later on, or just a story in between campaigns in whatever way you, as a group, want it to work. You don't have to do everything horribly awful like you would do in a normal role-playing campaign of some form because conflict tends to drive interest normally. You could have a year of absolute loveliness.
Yeah, there's still conflict and choices to be made.
Yeah.
It did ask us when we played it to make some interesting choices.
Yes.
About what might happen and what was going on.
Yeah, do we rescue a group of survivors, I think we found at one point, which is based on the stuff we developed.
Yeah.
We had some survivors turn up who were being chased by another group that we'd had run-ins with. Did we rescue them and add them to our community, even though we were struggling for resources, or use them as bait for the other group? Yeah. Essentially.
And what we found is that we had sort of personalities of certain characters. No one was playing a character, but certain people were doing certain things. And then someone else might hook onto something that you made as quite a throwaway reference. I think I had the survivors turn up and they were running from the faceless ones.
Yes.
Because I thought, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we were like, we discussed, I was like, these people turn up, they're all sort of emaciated and dirty and filthy, lots of them are injured and they're all burnt.
Yeah.
And they said, we're running, what happened, people asked them. The faceless ones they came out of the sea.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the faceless ones were.
No.
I didn't know what was going on in this. But later on, it kind of went around the table a couple of times and then someone else was like, well, we sent that scouting party out and they found some faceless ones dead. And something had killed them. We were like, but the faceless ones are scary.
Yeah.
What could kill that? And, it all took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
One of the things I really like is, ours was kind of medieval, with some weird bits of technology that we found every now and then.
Yeah.
I don't know if some of us were thinking slightly differently about the setting, but it all kind of blended in together. It had a science fantasy, Numenera kind of feel.
Yeah, definitely.
But you could before you start, we're going to do one that's set 100 years in the future. We're going to set it in roughly this kind of world, that kind of world. You could do it as a cyberpunk thing.
Yeah.
You do it in an arcology.
Yeah.
That's broken, for instance. Hence the scarcity of resources.
Yeah.
You could tailor it to fit lots and lots of different things.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it a second ago, this idea of going, actually, at the end of the game, because it only took us about 3 hours to go through it, to do the whole thing. It's designed for play in a single evening. Yeah. By the time we finished it, we had a map, and we had lots of story threads, and we had lots of ideas. We didn't resolve every plot thread.
No.
So there's a bit of me that was like, this could make a really cool RPG saying, we've got a map.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a crazy map because everyone's drawn on it and some of the stuff's one way up and some of the stuff's the other way up.
Yeah.
But you've got a rough map that you could play with, and you've got this community, and you've got a shared history.
Yes.
Any characters you play, if you then ported this into your Pathfinder game, your characters, you'll all know what happened in the last year.
Yeah.
You'll all know that there was that girl that thought that she was a reincarnation of a god or whatever it was that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And you can decide how your character reacted. If like half the, if there's 5 of you playing and 3 people voted exile her and 2 people voted make her our queen and she got exiled, well, which side was your character on during that?
Yeah.
And suddenly you've got this shared background and this shared history that you have created together.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did.
It was weird for the first go round the table. It was really strange.
Yes. Yeah. It definitely takes some adjusting to.
And luckily we had Jamie with us who had played it before.
Yeah.
And he kind of guided us a little bit through the beginning. But once we'd gone round, all had a go, it made sense, and it was it was easy. It won an award for the most innovative RPG of 2013.
Yeah, I can see why, actually. Because it's definitely so much different to what I've played in a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah.
It does. I don't know if we've said this before on the podcast, but I always see RPGs as this kind of, you're sitting around telling a campfire tale of some kind, and this really simulates that.
Yeah.
Well, it is a proper community story you're making.
Yeah, and it encourages you. If it's my go and I'm saying what's happening, there's nothing wrong with Aaron joining in and going, "What about this?" or "What about that?" Yeah. And when it's your go, you kind of got control, but you can, you're still collaborating each and every time.
Yeah,
it's not a thing where you switch off until it's your go.
No, and it's no winners losers type thing. So if somebody suggests something, it's like, "Oh, is that interesting or not?" rather than that ruins my thing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we did have elements where certain people got invested in their own. They started a story and no one else picked it up, and so they wanted to carry it on.
Yeah.
But actually, the best bits were where people were playing with each other's ideas.
Yeah.
Or linking. Like, I don't know, if Aaron and Jamie had come up with separate ideas, I could go, how could I join those together?
Yeah.
And you try to, you're trying to be creative. It's in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
To how you would go, what would my character do?
Yeah.
Because, you're role-playing the community, but you're also kind of just creating a story.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of it in that, what would make an interesting story kind of way. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did.
It's available online. We'll pop a link somewhere to it so that you can click across if that sounds good. Excellent. Right, our next game then, which is a game we've actually played on the podcast before.
We have indeed.
We'll pop a link on YouTube up in the top right hand corner. We'll pop a link elsewhere below to Fiasco by Bully Pulpit Games. Now, Fiasco is one of my favourite role-playing games.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Fiasco every time we've played it.
I do know, however, that it's not everyone's cup of tea. We've got a couple players within our sort of gaming group, our wider gaming circle, that aren't keen on it.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of explain a little bit of it, of why that might be, so you can make a judgment for yourselves.
Yeah.
But if you've only played an evening and decided it's not for you, you've not lost a lot, I think.
No, yeah.
It's not like buying 90 quid's worth of D&D books and then going, oh, this is rubbish, after the first game.
Yeah.
Because then you're down 90 quid.
Yeah.
The game itself is about £15.
Yeah, which is nothing.
So, how does Fiasco work then?
Okay, you have a collection of dice.
Yep.
Some white, some black, which you roll and leave in the middle of the table.
Yep.
And then you have a little book. And you will go through each section of your campaign design from the book. So you'll decide on a story setting. So is it going to be a Western? Is it going to be set in the Antarctic? Is it going to be a bank robbery? I think are some of the ones you've got. And then you use the dice to decide on elements for bits of the story. So you want to create
Another Fable? You wanted to? No.
Right. Let's go for the Boomtown one because this is the one we did on the podcast.
Yeah. So you've got you can make your own set of tables.
Yeah.
Or there are lots and lots of them that you can pick up. There's loads on their website. There's some in the book, and there's some in the Fiasco Companion as well. So I mean, we've played this 3 times.
Yeah.
And we're nowhere near running out of ideas and tables and such like.
No.
Yeah.
And it's easier to replay the ones you've done before and do have something completely different.
Yes. Yeah. So we played Boomtown from the main book, which is set in the Wild West.
Yes.
And you establish characters.
Yeah.
Well, you establish relationships between your characters by using these dice. So it's semi-randomised, but you get to pick the dice.
Yeah.
So some of them you'll be able to go, I definitely want mine and Aaron's character to be family.
Yeah. So
and you'll take a number 1.
Yeah.
Write on a card, put it between you that says family.
Yeah.
And then someone else will define a different relationship.
Yeah.
You don't just have to define your own relationships.
No, this is where the fun comes in.
So you can go, I don't know, if you've got a brother and sister around the table, you might say, I think your characters are lovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought that would be funny.
It was funny. Everybody else,
Yes,
incredibly
it was terribly
awkward for us. But yeah, no, yeah,
but you can play, and what you build this network of relationships between your characters within the established kind of setting. That you are using. So it starts with character creation, a bit like a normal RPG.
Yeah.
You then establish needs between their relationships.
So their motivations, essentially, for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And again, these are generally... There's normally some kind of connection with them. You're trying to make them linked to other characters or people on the table.
Yeah.
So you want to get out of town before everybody finds out about you. You might also define that one of the other people on the table knows who you actually are.
Yeah. You might define a relationship with a location.
Yep.
So we had a Chinese laundry, didn't we?
Yes.
Which was very cliche of us. And there's also items, important items, so objects.
Yes.
And you can vary this depending on the number of players. Now, what I quite like about this is when you've got a larger group, so 4 or 5 of you, not every character will know every other character.
No.
Your relationship to defined to the people to your left and right. If there's 3 of you, like there was when we played this, for the podcast, everybody hadn't had a relationship.
Yeah.
And that got quite complex quite quickly, because it throws you in. So once you've done that, you play a scene. Every character takes a turn to define a scene. So they might say, my character is here doing this.
Yeah.
And then you role play it. Other people might play their characters. If their characters are there, they might play NPCs. We had a really good one involving... What's the first one we played?
Was it the Arctic one we played first?
It
was the suburban...
Yes, we played one campaign where it was suburban people trying to get rich off a golf course.
Yes.
Redevelopment.
Yeah.
So it was...
I'm trying to think. So it was a film with Matthew Perry in, I think.
The Whole Nine Yards.
The Whole Nine Yards.
The Whole Nine Yards. Desperate Housewives.
Yes.
Where terrible things happen to very bored people in the suburbs. We had that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had that. That was what was going on. And we had some mobsters that turned up as part of one of the characters' background. And Colin just played one of the mobsters in one scene and did such a great job of it that we were like, the mobster's here. Colin, you need to be the mobster again. And, you know, so people almost ended up with other characters.
Yeah.
Now, if you define your scene, the other players get to choose whether it's a good result for you.
Yeah.
And you get one dice of one colour, maybe white.
Yeah.
And then if it ends badly for your character, then it gets black. Now, there's only a finite pool of dice.
Yes.
What you could do instead, if you want to decide you want a good result for your character, you might let the other characters define the scene.
Yeah.
But they might put you in a situation where actually you don't want it to happen in a certain way.
Yeah.
Or you'd be like, I didn't want my character to go and do this. Now my character's in trouble now.
Yeah.
What have they done this for? Yeah. So there's a nice kind of balance between how, defining things for yourself and trying to push the story in the direction you want and sort of getting your character to do what they want.
Yeah.
But then it might end badly for them.
Yeah.
If the other players are feeling mean.
Yeah.
Or surrendering a bit of control and then therefore being able to pick and choose, but then canny players can get you to make those choices really hard for you.
Yes, yeah. Now, ultimately what you're trying to do towards the end of the game is have a collection of dice.
Yeah.
Ideally of one colour.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad,
Yeah.
because you'll be using those dice to roll on tables.
Yeah,
at the end.
you roll them all together. The good dice are positive, the black dice are negative. A high positive or a very low positive result are actually good for you.
Yeah.
So you might be the kind of character where everything goes horribly wrong, but they come out at the end smelling of roses.
Yeah.
Or you might be the kind of character that's really nice and does it. But if you're kind of morally grey, you're probably going to get screwed.
Yes.
In some fashion. Now, the game mixes the up its systems halfway through. It has a tilt where you roll on a table and bad things occur.
Yeah.
And everything sort of escalates.
Yeah.
And then it messes with the system of how and where you choose what's going on as well. It kind of mixes things up. The game, to me, where it really shines is if everyone gets on the same page and realises that you're not there to be maybe super competitive.
Yes.
You're there to tell a really good story.
Yeah.
Because people could try and dominate the game and try and make everything perfect for their character.
Yeah.
To win, in quotes.
Yeah.
Which is something I was a little bit guilty of the first time I played this, because
Yeah.
I was in that mode. But
Yeah.
it's not cooperative. Actually, the most fun I've had with it is where my character gets their just desserts, because you can act like a terrible person.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, I died horribly.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, isn't it? Because I was horrible. I've been watching a lot of Fargo, the TV show.
Yeah.
Fargo, the TV show, and Fargo, the film, feels like a game of Fiasco, and it's one of the things that's name checked within the game.
Yeah.
Where it has terrible decisions that come back to haunt people.
Yes.
And people being greedy and vain and selfish and doing all sorts of terrible things. And it's great. That's why it's called Fiasco. The idea is to have one of those caper films.
Yeah.
Or those dark comedy works really, really well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was pretty much what our podcast playthrough went to.
It was very dark, but it was quite funny.
Yeah.
And very silly. There's lots of dynamite at one point.
It was, yeah.
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 It's the Wild West. There had to be some dynamite.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah. Colin's acting in that is amazing.
Yeah, actually.
His voice work is very good.
Yes.
Damn him.
Yeah.
Yeah, his accent is very, very good. So it's very interesting. It's different. It's very story based.
Yeah.
So again, if you're people that play quite crunchy mechanics, might be something that's quite different for you.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I felt after playing it was I was more confident as a player and a DM in surrendering control to the rest of the table. Mm-hmm. Because quite often in a role-play game, the DM has got their story and the players react to it and do the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, I found that since we've played a few of these kind of games, players are chipping in with details to embroider scenes.
Yeah, actually.
Players are adding more detail to what's going on. They're making more suggestions around the table. It's kind of freed us from that kind of...
One person has to do everything.
Yeah,
oh God.
DM players, nothing meets.
Yeah.
They're very separate. So kind of blurring the edges, which I really like, because it means everyone's got more buy-in to the game.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It was a nice way of getting that into what we were doing.
Yeah. Now, as we said, we have had players who haven't enjoyed this
Yes.
as much.
It's
as...
not everyone's cup of tea.
No. Now, what do we think that is? I'm actually having a moment now.
I think partly because there's that idea of wanting to win the scenario. Because if you're a player in an RPG, you're still trying to win. You're not necessarily competing with the DM. They've set the problem.
Yeah.
But you're trying to triumph over adversity.
Yeah.
It's very hard to win in Fiasco. And as I said, I've enjoyed it where I obviously haven't come out of it the best.
Yeah, the same.
My favourite character ended up in a wheelchair, paralysed.
Yeah.
On the veranda looking over the golf course that everyone else was making money out of, and he wasn't. And then he was wheeled back inside by his abusive wife, who happened to be another player.
Yes.
Yeah, it was all terrible. But we buried people in concrete.
Yeah.
We had someone get set on fire at the end. And we've had someone retire to a yacht full of, with a briefcase full of money. As long as the story is good.
Yes, that's what, it's generally not about your individual elements. It's about the whole thing together. Yeah. So I can understand it from players who want to win something or want their character to survive, because it doesn't always work for the story if your character has a happy ending or even lives.
Yeah.
But then that's one of the benefits of having these one-shot campaign things, is that you can have characters who
die halfway through.
Yeah, and it not matter. Well, it does matter for the story. In fact, it gives a bit more.
Yeah, you still
impact.
You
to the
still play
story.
if you die.
Yeah, of course you do.
But you might set a scene where it's a flashback to your character, and you can start revealing that your character was involved in more than everyone thought, and have a scene that shows something that then affects everyone else's story.
Yeah.
And you can still mess with people.
Yes.
And you can end up with a character that died halfway through that's posthumously recognised and gets like an award for bravery.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks they're amazing. Or the character was all about their family. And although all this bad stuff has happened and the characters died, their family are looked after at the end. So they've still won.
Yeah.
So you could do all sorts of things. Or you end up with a dead character that everyone pins it all on.
Yeah, yeah.
And their name is mud and their family has to live in a bin.
Yeah. But again, typical kind of caper movie thing.
Definitely. Really great game. Hopefully we've done a good job of explaining how it works.
Yeah.
If you're interested, click the link, have a listen to us having a play. It's a 2-part podcast.
Yes, yeah, because it took us a few hours to play it.
It was a whole evening, so I think it's about 4 hours of us doing various Wild West accents.
Yeah.
And me desperately not trying to do a racist Chinese accent.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, it was hard. Moving away from maybe something that's a bit more, in the last two cases, very freeform, rules light, to something that can be quite rules heavy.
Yeah.
But you don't need to read a rule book as a player, and it's actively frowned upon. It's the game Paranoia. Now, Paranoia has been a favourite of mine for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up the second edition of Paranoia. I think it was published in the mid-80s. I picked it up for £1 at a car boot sale. Probably would have been about 20 years ago now. Unfortunately, I don't have that copy of the book anymore. It's probably worth a bit, maybe. It's recently been re-released by Mongoose, so Mongoose Publishing. We have recorded a unboxing.
Yes.
An unboxing. Use your words, Brian. We've recorded an unboxing of the game. It's quite odd. It comes in a kind of a box set with multiple books and some dice and some cards and such like. It's very different to how it used to be. And we'll put that up as soon as possible and paste a link.
Yeah.
It's not quite ready because I've been asleep. It's me being lazy. Now, Paranoia, Aaron.
Yes.
You've not played, have you?
I've not, no.
So I might dominate here.
That's fine.
Squatting upon you. Marking you with my scent.
Which may or may not be a thing in Paranoia, from what I've heard.
It could be, yeah. So, Paranoia is set in Alpha Complex at some indeterminate time in the future. Alpha Complex is a huge series of underground bunkers ruled by the computer.
Yes.
Now, the computer is a wise and benevolent overseer or a cruel and dictatorial tyrant.
Yeah.
Depending on the mood and the whim of the DM. And the players are troubleshooters. They are average Alpha Complex citizens who have been raised up from the food purifying vats or from janitorial duties, been given laser guns and been tasked with going and solving problems. And it is a very, very funny game. It is overtly humorous.
Yeah.
A lot of the games we play are quite dark.
Yes.
I like a dark game. I like a bit of horror. I like serious themes that make me think about what I did and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for, difficult moral choices I like in a game.
Yeah.
But it's also fun to just shoot your friend in the face.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Now, it might sound unusual to think, I'm going to shoot the other players in the face. But everyone has a series of clones.
Yay.
So you have 6 clones. If you die, a new clone will be delivered, as suits the whim of the DM.
Yeah.
And your clone is identical, unless the whim of the DM decides, no, actually, it's going to be different this time. And your clone is just another version of you that's either wandering around just doing normal stuff, or is like in a box somewhere. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of iced.
Someone's got the penknife out, just opened the cardboard box with it curled up in. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one arrive with hypothermia because I hadn't defrosted it properly once. That was quite good. And you're not. One of the key things is you don't hold a grudge. Just because Jeff killed your character, you don't just immediately come in and shoot Jeff in the face, because that version of your clone wouldn't know that that's what happened.
Yes.
But it's perfectly okay to hold the grudge in real life. Just wait.
Yes.
And watch. So it's very satirical in tone. The original game very much satirised the Cold War. Mm-hmm. So you were looking for commies.
Right.
The new version of the game I've now read through is you're now looking for terrorists.
Yeah, as is fitting with today's horrors.
Yeah. And the world is very, very hierarchical. So you have your rainbow clearance. So you all start at red clearance.
Yeah.
And it goes up to orange, yellow, blue, green, green, blue, indigo, violet even.
Yeah.
Normal citizens are infrared, which is black.
Yeah.
And the top people, the high programmers who can actually program the computer, are ultraviolet, which is white. You're not allowed to go anywhere that is not your colour.
Right.
Or lower.
Yeah.
So if you're red and you're walking down an orange hallway, you could be shot.
Cool.
You might not be, depending on the whim of the GM.
Yeah.
But you've got lots and lots of opportunity for slapstick mishaps.
Yeah.
One of the results on the damage chart is smoking boots in the old game.
Yeah.
Which it just leaves a pile of smoking boots. It's very slapstick. It's almost cartoonish.
Yeah.
In its humour. You can play it slightly more seriously, but it's been really, really great just to have a laugh and a joke.
Yeah.
The most laughter I've ever seen at the gaming table has been playing Paranoia.
Awesome.
I actually had a player who almost couldn't breathe with laughter because another character, there were zero gravity toothpicks.
Okay.
So you pick up a toothpick, you twist it, and then it floats up, and it's got a little AI in it, so it floats into your mouth and just picks your teeth for you while you sit there grinning.
Oh, cool. Yeah, handy.
There was a fight, and guns going off and things getting thrown. So Colin's character, Colin was playing, he flipped over the table full of R&D equipment to duck behind it to take cover. All of the toothpicks, like 100 of these toothpicks, hit the floor. All got activated, all flew up and flew into his face all at once and just skewered him like Pinhead and killed him instantly. And my friend Adi nearly died, falling off his chair at about 2:00 in the morning.
Colin's not got much luck with wood, has he?
No, he's been killed by chairs.
Yeah,
24-hour Pathfinder.
I'm beginning to understand when he plays rangers that it's always some kind of urban ranger and never anything that actually exists in a forest.
I think he should play a druid that hates trees.
Yes.
Like a
concrete druid.
Yes. Concrete Druids would be an amazing 70s prog rock band name.
Yes.
Quick, to the time machine! Also to something that teaches us how to play instruments. Yes. I really like the look of the new set.
Yeah.
It's not at all what I expected when I ordered it.
No.
And you will see my confusion in the unboxing. But actually it's nice. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's nicely put together, and the system is simpler than ever. And way back in the midst of time, I said you don't need to know the rules as a player.
Mm-hmm.
In Paranoia, the rules are always top secret. So only the DM knows the rules.
Yeah, because they're white clearance.
Yes. Yeah, because they are. Because you're the computer, and the computer knows how things work.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of trust in your DM.
But it also engenders a massive distrust in them.
Yes.
Which is perfect.
Yes, it completely suits the paranoia
Yeah.
of the thing. You're not meant to trust anyone, and you're meant to try to portray yourself as a perfectly good, happy citizen while trying to desperately be the person that survives.
Yeah.
So there's a nice kind of tension to it, and it just lets you, quite often in role-play games, players can get a bit tense with each other.
Yeah.
You can have character tensions. You can have personal tensions that spill into the game. This is fine, as long as it doesn't result in, player conflict around the table that ruins the fun for everyone.
Yeah.
And actually, Paranoia is a really good release valve for that.
It sounds it, yeah.
Because if Tim's character's been peeing you off in Mutant for the last 6 weeks, shoot his clone in the face with a bazooka.
Yeah.
It will feel much better.
And yet they'll still get to come back and do something, so I can shoot them again, theoretically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they might try and shoot you, and you can do some bits and pieces.
Yeah.
One of the things I really liked about the old edition was you rolled your stats randomly, and it was like roll a d20.
Yeah.
So you could just be a dribbling moron for the entire session.
Yeah.
You just had to play it. That was quite good. And we have the new version still has it as well. I think they even have cards that you give out to the players, different roles within the troubleshooter team. So you'll have someone who is the leader.
Yeah.
You might have the happiness and hygiene officer.
Yeah.
And you might have, say, the security officer. The happiness and hygiene officer is my favourite.
Yes, yeah, I really like the look of that card.
We still have songs that we sing to this day, which again you'll see us on the unboxing singing the song. That was something that someone made up on the spur of the moment 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But every time we play Paranoia, the song kind of turns up.
Yeah, it's so engendered into the role play group. Even I know the song, having never played Paranoia.
Yes,
yeah,
because it's come up
for
in other
a
things.
multitude of reasons. Yes. Whenever anybody has to question the GM, mostly.
I mean, it is a game I've probably only played it half a dozen times. Because 20 years ago I didn't really have people to play.
Yeah.
But I've, in the last sort of 10 years, probably played it half a dozen times. I can remember everything that happened in all of those sessions.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
And something that's nice, quick, memorable.
Yeah. It's not something that you want to play every single week.
No.
Because it would become wearing and taxing too quickly.
Yeah.
But as something that's just, we're going to do something really silly and have a laugh.
Yeah.
It's a good, almost like a beer and pretzels kind of role-play game.
Yeah.
Another game that we played on the podcast is Goblin Quest. We played it for Halloween, because goblins are kind of Halloween-y.
Yeah.
And me, Joe and Jamie played a game of Goblin Quest. So, again, find the link, bing, and have a listen. I had a great time playing Goblin Quest.
Yeah.
This is Goblin Quest by Grant Howitt. So self-publishing. I kickstarted it a long time ago. The book's very nice, little hardback thing.
Oh, lovely.
And it's a very, very, very silly game again.
Yeah, having listened to that, it did sound incredibly silly.
Where you have a group. It's actually, now I think, I hadn't put this together. It's very similar to Paranoia. You have a little tribe of goblins.
Yeah.
And you play one at a time, and that's assumed to be leading your tribe of goblins.
Yeah.
But they die horribly and terrible things happen to them. And then another one steps forward. And they all have little miniature variations that you pick at the start of the game.
Yeah.
So I had one that spoke like Yoda, for instance. That was his variation. I think Jamie had one that had a pumpkin on his head, one that had a cake on his head, one that had an apple on his head. There was
stuffing food stuff.
Something different heads, I think.
Yeah.
We had to go questing for a pumpkin. I've got myself slightly confused. We were trying to throw the best Halloween party.
Yeah.
Which, because we were goblins and we're stupid, throwing the party involved placing it inside a catapult so it could be thrown somewhere, literally. We also fought the bear, shark, bear, shark bear.
Yeah.
You listened to this then, Aaron?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did we sound like we were having fun?
Yeah, definitely.
It's very simple. It's very freeform. It's based on a series of scenes where your goblins are trying to achieve something. It's DM-less, which we didn't really say about Fiasco. or the Quiet Year.
No,
They're
that's true,
DMless. Yeah. Whereas Paranoia definitely has a DM and players. And then you just roll to see what happens. And it's all about working out what's funny in the moment, what's interesting in the moment. Your goblins aren't going to succeed every time, and then you just describe what happens.
Yeah.
And really, really good fun. It's kind of like a mix between Fiasco and Paranoia, actually.
Yeah.
With a simpler system. Would you fancy having a go, Aaron?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love for us to play it again in the podcast, but at least at some point, or just play in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, just a bit of ad-libbing humour for failing miserably, which, judging by our mutant campaign recently, seems to be a thing that is constant for my characters, and it would be nice to be some kind of rewarded for that in some way.
You say that. You're the only person who hasn't died in any of the roleplay games that we've played.
Technically I did.
What did you... You ran away?
The rabbit ran away, yeah.
Yeah.
In the worst state possible.
But buried itself because it's a rabbit.
Yeah.
So it dug a hole and we dug it back out again, and
and so
I just gave it a big monkey cuddle until it went to sleep. Not permanently, but till it stopped protesting.
Yeah.
I really like my giant monkey.
Your giant monkeys. Yeah.
We've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but my giant monkey in Gen Lab I'm really, really enjoying playing. Because he has a sledgehammer. And
it's the world's most brutal, loving monkey.
Yeah, he's very nice to everyone, but also I just made him the most direct thing.
Yeah.
So Colin's playing a character that is definitely mad, and everyone humours him.
Yeah.
And I keep going, "Why are you doing that?"
We need him to be quiet, and you'll chokehold him until he goes to sleep, because it's the quickest way to make him go be silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, just being sort of brute force and ignorance. I'm very much enjoying that. Which is completely different to the other characters I've played in it, and it's actually the kind of thing that, had I not died, it's the kind of thing you can do in
it sounds like the sort of
these.
thing you definitely engender in Goblin Quest, particularly because that's how goblins solve things.
Yes,
It's direct and simple way possible.
Yeah,
because they can't think of anything complex.
No.
Yeah.
So. I think maybe Goblin Quest has filtered into my character choices.
Yeah.
Now. And I probably wouldn't have played a character like that until I played Goblin Quest.
Yeah. So, I guess the thing we're finding with a lot of the little one-shotters we're doing, there's elements of it that we're pulling out into our main campaigns to make them more varied, more complex, to allow people to get more invested in them. Yeah.
Which brings us nicely to the Sprawl, which is published by Ardens Ludaire, which is spelt how it sounds.
Yeah.
And this has something amazing in it that I'm going to steal for everything we do. And we talked a little bit about this when we talked about Mutant Year Zero, where you build a community together at the beginning.
Yeah.
The Sprawl is a cyberpunk game. It's very 80s.
Okay.
Very, very 80s. The version of the book I've got is white dot matrix text printed on black paper.
Oh my god.
With green bits.
Yeah.
Like the old BBC computers. It's just neon and chrome everywhere. It's amazing.
Lovely.
And the thing that the Sprawl does that I really, really like is it has a session 0. What we've been doing with this is it's designed to be played. You play a mission in a night, and the mission is self-contained.
Yeah.
But it rewards you coming back to it. So it forms a nice campaign in and of itself. But it's got this kind of thing where it's almost like an episodic TV show. So we've been playing this. We've played sort of 4 games of it. But we can put it away for a month and then come back to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's a nice thing. If you're the kind of group that maybe runs two campaigns side by side, I know it's quite common, say 1 week to play Pathfinder, the next week to play Traveller, and then switch back and forth, or however people do it. Or if you've got, well, actually, we know the next few months we're going to have 3 or 4 sessions where not everyone can make it.
Yeah.
Cool, we'll do this. The thing it does that I love this so much, I had so much fun, is it goes, right, build the world.
Cool.
So you have cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is a thing.
Yeah.
It is set in the Sprawl. You decide where your Sprawl is. We've got Neo London.
Cool.
Because Neo Tokyo is a thing. We thought Neo London.
Yeah, it should be.
So Neo London goes from Southampton to Birmingham. It's one enormous gigantic, great big. It is a proper sprawl.
Yeah.
I think there may be a bridge that goes to London as well as the channel. Goes to France, sorry, as well as the tunnel. But that may have got blown up. I can't quite remember at this moment in time. And it goes right. Every single player before you've made your characters, before you do anything, is name and define a corporation.
Ooh, okay.
These corporations then serve both as your employers and your antagonists.
Oh, very nice, yeah.
So we went round the table and we had a couple people who'd not done this kind of thing before. So we let them go last.
Yeah.
So they could see how everyone was doing it. I felt quite confident because I'm used to sort of world building and that kind of thing. And we defined a corporation each. So we ended up with a Spanish biotechnical company that's all about big gardens and arcologies and greenhouses and biotechnical implants.
Yeah.
We had an engineering company that does mechanical things and hover vehicles and drones for drone warfare and tanks.
Yeah.
We ended up with a combined royal family plus the church.
Ooh, yeah.
Who they have the same CEO, but there is no conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And to suggest otherwise is treason. And they have all the manpower with the church.
Yeah.
The masses, the people in the slums. But they also have all the weaponry and lots of money from their aristocratic conventions. And then because of that, in Cyberpunk, you don't have a pistol. You'll have a Luther 637.
Yeah, yeah.
Etc. etc. So all of our weapons and such like are named after British aristocratic conventions or stately homes.
Yeah.
So we have like the Sandringham exo armor suit.
Yeah.
And we have the Churchill. The Churchill is a drum mag repeating shotgun. And we've got all these harking back to that sort of imperial past and things like that. So we've got all these kind of things. So
that's very cool.
This wasn't what we sat down. This wasn't something that we had to make up. It just came out discussing them round the table.
Yeah.
And we kind of ended up defining. Okay, so we know that there's going to be slums. It's Cyberpunk. Now we know the slums are full of the church operatives.
Yeah.
We've got the information is controlled by what used to be the British Library. So the British Library is now its own little independent nation state, and they have Atheniums, so like Greek name for libraries. Scattered around where they have faster than light access to information between their different places. Yeah. So although it's Cyberpunk, everyone's got the internet and mass communication. If you want really good stuff or you want information, that's where you go. Yeah, all these fortresses where there's it's essentially like Fox News on crack because they control all the information. Yeah. And such like, and then they have very robotic. Yeah. They're very much heavily into the augmentation as well. So we built this amazingly interesting world. Yeah. It's using the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is not a system I've ever played before, but I'm going to get some more of their books. We're off to the UK Games Expo in a couple of days. When I browse the RPG section, if I see some of the books using the same system, we will. It's a nice and simple system. You make a move.
Cool.
You roll some dice.
Yeah.
You need to get high numbers to succeed. You might add a stat. You might add, if you've got a really good gun, it might give you +1. Yeah. For instance. It's a 2d6 system, really, really simple. You pick a role. What roles would you expect there to be in a Cyberpunk game?
Well, you're going to have a hacker.
Yeah, hacker as a role.
Probably some form of driver. An investigator, so sort of a PI type thing.
Yep.
What else are you going to have? You're going to have some kind of heavy...
Cybernetic killers, yeah. The killer.
Yeah. Probably some kind of dealer of some form.
There's a fixer. Yeah.
What else is missing? Some kind of corporate stooge.
Yeah, you can have elements of that.
Yeah.
Everyone starts with cybernetic implants.
Cool.
Of some kind. So if you're the fixer, you might have secure communications. Yeah. If you're the killer, you might have bionic arms and can rip people apart. If you're a driver, you get to plug into your vehicle, but you also get something else.
Yeah.
But you have to determine where you got it from and why. It asks you these questions, and they become mechanics within the game.
Okay.
So it might be cool. I'm a killer for the Church of England, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've got bionic arm. Yep. So why did they give you that? How did you get it? So you could have got it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's expensive, so the one you've got is defective, so it might go wrong.
Yeah.
Or it could be that they own you.
Yes.
They bought it for you. They expect services in return.
Yeah. So you've got...
So you've then got
whole...
plot pressure on you to do stuff. So it's the kind of game where an entire combat can be determined by a single roll of 2d6.
Yeah.
Which makes the dice rolls very, very tense.
Yeah.
And very, very important. It has really interesting systems where you can do... It splits the game into two phases. You have legwork, where you go and you investigate. So you're like, right, your mission is to kill this corporate CEO.
Yeah.
So you will go and investigate and try and find out what's going on, get equipment, gather information.
Cool, yeah.
And you can gather gear. You don't go, I'm going to get this thing and this thing and this thing specifically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a gun and a grappling hook and some fancy feety pyjamas.
Yeah.
You go, I've got 3 gear tokens.
Yeah.
And you go, right, you're there, and the CEO car sees you and it starts speeding off, and you go, cool. Well, I thought of this earlier when I was doing my research, Brian. Pull out a gear token, swap it, and go, I pull out the bazooka from the briefcase that I've been carrying.
Brilliant.
Click it, and it allows you to feel like slick cyberpunk professionals.
Yeah.
Without having to plan for every single contingency.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel very cinematic, because when you're watching a film, characters go, well, I thought of this, and they pull the thing out.
Yeah.
You don't have to see them going down the shops
and
buying it
doing
or
stuff like
talking
that,
to someone in an alleyway.
This is how I've seen the Fate system working.
Yes.
You'll have certain bits for that same reasons, like for that cinematic pose.
Yeah.
You've got something about your characters hidden that you'll reveal at that element.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're just setting up. Your character might know it, but you don't, because you don't know what the GM's going to throw at you. Yeah, no, I like that. It makes it a lot better, because you can get stuck in properly in some campaign systems with going, right, we're going to be camping out, so I'm going to need to go buy a tent, I need a campfire.
I found Pathfinder very much like that.
Yeah.
By the time we hit 15th level at Pathfinder, I had a magic... I was playing a cleric, so I had a bag of holding.
Yeah.
Rob Holding, the Arsenal footballer. Just his skin. And I had a magic scroll case that could hold like 1 million scrolls.
Yeah.
And I had to track... I had like 5 of every spell in a scroll just in case I needed it. I had food for an army, plus this wand in case of this, and this wand in case of that, and this spare bit of armour for that, and this magic item for that.
Yeah.
You know, my character sheet was it's bordering on a short story rather than a sheet. And it would have been much cooler just to be able to go, boom, I pull out my wand of cure light wounds and heal him and he doesn't die.
Yeah.
Every character is different. They all feel like they've got their own kind of niche, and it really encourages you to take control as players.
Yeah.
To go, right, it's legwork. What are you doing? I'm going to go hit the bar and try to find information about this guy.
Yeah.
The best thing about it, I keep saying it's the best thing actually.
Yeah.
One of the best things about it is each mission that you play, you can establish a connection.
Yeah.
If you're the fixer, you can do it twice.
Oh.
But you might have to go to someone that you've pissed off if you roll badly.
Yeah.
Because, you probably screwed them over or you owe them some money.
Yeah.
Your connections are real people in the sense that they don't just do what you want. They're not a mechanical thing of, I need someone to get me... I need a car. I know a guy who's got a car dealership.
Yeah. Well, he's not just going to give you a car.
Yeah, so you roll some dice, you do some stuff, and in our case, he was like, "Yeah, I can lend you a really nice limo because you want to kidnap this guy, but I'm having this little problem, and I'd quite like you to help me out." And this guy, as a DM, just making stuff up.
Yeah.
But it says you can turn it to the players and go, right, he's got a problem. What kind of thing do you think he would have as a problem? And it breaks down that barrier slightly.
Yeah.
As DM, you roll no dice as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. You just pose problems and make your own moves when the players roll badly.
Yes.
The players roll the dice, and then the DM reacts if something goes wrong.
That's quite nice. Yeah.
So we had this guy. He had a group of kids that kept vandalising his dealership and spray painting it and such like. So our killer camped out on the roof until they turned up and then murdered them all.
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. That's horrible.
She initially went to scare them off, but one of them pulled a knife.
Oh,
so she pulled out an even bigger knife, and then one of them ran away as a witness to you killing him, shot him in the back of the head.
As is once in Cyberpunk,
yeah. I've really enjoyed it. I really want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened in times when I haven't been able to come. We played particularly in like last month for a couple of months where I've been missing quite a bit, and every time I've gone, but I would have liked to play too.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of thing I think we might spin into a bit more of a linked campaign.
Yeah.
It does have a definite end, even if you're playing it over and over again, in that you're trying to accrue enough cred, which is reputation plus money combined, to retire.
Cool. Yeah.
But
simple goal.
Yeah, and it uses the system of sort of different threat clocks. So if you annoy a corporation, they're slow moving, it takes time.
Yeah.
But they build up from midday to midnight. If they hit midnight, you have annoyed them to the point where they want to kill you.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they'll send a squad after you, though. It might be that they hire you to do one last job before they wipe you up and wipe you out at the end.
Yeah.
And it has all the betrayal that you'd expect from sort of noir cyberpunk kind of stuff built in. So you get the job, you meet the people, you roll some dice, and you might go, cool, I get to pick 3 things that happen as I get the job, and you might get some more gear, you might get some more info, you might find out who your employers actually are.
Yeah.
You might get paid double. You might have negotiated really well and got a higher payload. You have to choose that the meeting does not attract attention. Otherwise, someone knows.
Right.
And as DM, I'm sitting there going, cool, pick. And the players are talking amongst themselves going, well, I want to get paid more because I need to pay off this guy for this thing that happened last session.
Yeah.
And people are going, we need gear, we're going to have to murder a bunch of people, we need loads of gear, and then they don't pick that one, and I'm like, someone knows, and I advance a clock, and it's like, oh, it's all good.
Nice. So they can't see the clocks, I take it. They've got no idea. They know people have got generated interest, but they can't know exactly how much interest they've gotten from
no them. I reveal the clocks. I've been revealing, I think it's what it says. You reveal it at sort of in between sessions or at the end of the session, and such like. So you go, boom, there you go. Just to let you know, this clock is here, because the players can then start setting themselves their own goals and their own targets as well. They can go, okay, this company really dislikes us. We need to do something about that.
Yeah,
we've annoyed this particular person. Let's go deal with them. Or let's go arrange a deal to give them something that we took from these people and kind of calm them down, get them off our backs. Yes, really good fun, but works really nicely as something that you can just dot in amongst, because each mission is designed to be played in an evening. We've had a couple that have gone into 2 evenings. But it just works really nicely as something to sort of pick up and put down. It's kind of it's episodes of a crazy messed up TV show kind of thing.
Yeah, unlike something like Mutant or Pathfinder, where your characters are kind of constantly travelling and doing stuff, so you're playing that all the time.
Yes.
Your characters will, right, I've done this mission, right, well, I'm going to go enjoy some of the money I've made. I'm going to relax.
It's really good, because I think I've had 5 people who've played it with me, but I've only ever had up to 4 of them at once. And it's just the other people aren't available for that mission. Because you're not like an adventuring group that you camp together, you're in the inn together, you live in each other's pockets.
You just happen to occasionally work together.
You're contractors. So in our thing, we've got one character who's the boss. He's the leader. He's a soldier. That's his role, which is a bit like the killer. But they're really good at planning for murder. They're really good at organising the chaos and the death. So they get lots of bonuses for planning in advance. They set the agenda. So they're the one that's contacted, and then basically in the game, he rings round his contacts. Whoever is available gets pulled in. The other characters aren't. They're not there. that's fine. And if you get halfway through and don't quite finish, because you've got that legwork stage, you then move into the action phase where you do the main job.
Yeah.
If you don't quite finish, well, someone else can turn up anyway. A bit of a plot twist.
Yeah.
So and so is there. Oh, you asked that guy to hire you a hacker. Well, look, it's your hacker. You said you were busy. I was. Or I just didn't want to work with you last time, but he kind of, shot my mum in the foot, and now I have to be it. Whatever you want to do, you can bring them in. So it's really nice as something to maybe return to. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that was 5 RPGs to play in between sessions of your main campaign. We talked about The Quiet Year. I really like your description, your cartography RPG.
Yeah.
Very loose, very freeform,
Yep.
and really good. I think we've been all about that collaborative side of role playing.
Yes.
Especially at the beginning of campaigns and such like.
Yeah.
And that does a really good job of sort of encouraging everyone to sort of chip in and to build something together.
Yeah.
We talked about Fiasco, which, as I say, Fiasco is all about adding on that improv thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and what about?
Yeah.
And I think it's encouraged us to loosen up a little bit in our RPGs. Paranoia, just absolute great fun.
Yeah.
As I said, haven't laughed so much playing an RPG as I have playing Paranoia. Goblin Quest came a close second.
Yeah.
And if you prefer fantasy to sci-fi,
Yeah, or just want to play a game without a DM.
or if you don't want a DM, you can literally open up Goblin Quest, roll some dice, generate a thing, and play.
Yeah. I'm being silly.
Yeah, Shut Up and Sit Down played it not too long ago. Yeah, it's probably a couple of years ago now. So I in fact heard about it. Yeah, they played it and they did. It's in the book.
Yeah.
It was a Kickstarter stretch goal. They did Sean Bean Quest, where you where you play a group of Sean Beans trying to achieve a quest, and you get bonuses for dying in appropriate ways. And you've got like sexy Sean Bean, who's like Lady Chatterley's lover Bean. You've got military Bean.
Yeah.
You've got fantasy Bean.
Yeah.
You've got hired gun Bean.
Yes.
Evil bad guy Bean. And you've got different types of Sean Bean.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just roll to see what kind of Sean Bean you are each time one dies.
Yeah.
You
get rewards for putting on the worst northern accent possible.
Yeah. The Shut Up and Sit Down. We'll try and include a link because it's very, very funny.
Yeah.
With their northern accents, because I can't do a northern accent,
No.
which is the reason we haven't played that one yet.
Go away and practice it for everybody.
Yes. And if you're looking for something to maybe fill up a bit more time, I can't recommend the Sprawl enough. We'll probably do a full podcast on that soon.
Yeah. It might be nice actually to do a playthrough.
Yes, yeah. I really like it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm loving the sound of it. I'll be honest, massively loving the sound of it.
Yeah. I've never seen my players acting like such badasses.
Yeah.
Because we have like the killer is she has all sorts of cybernetic enhancements. She counts as a gang. She counts as you having 15 people on your side in a fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she's scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, the player is normally quite sort of meek and mild around the table.
Yeah.
Has just been murdering everyone and has looked the happiest I've seen them playing roleplay.
You might have opened up something you shouldn't have done with that.
I may have done. And like the soldier has an ability where they can spend info and gear and stuff to just turn up at the right place.
Yeah.
Because that's their job.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, just kind of go, everything's ruined, what's going on? And then someone who's not involved in the scene just flicks a poker chip, because we've been using poker chips for it, just flicks a poker chip into the middle of the table and goes, I burst in through the window, all guns blazing. And it's like, ah! And it's just great. You feel, it's real, it's so thematic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very narrow in its scope because it's so thematic.
Yeah.
If you played it for a year, you'd be bored.
Yeah.
But to dip in and out of, having created this world together, is great.
Brilliant.
Cool. So thank you very much for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please tell people about it, because they might enjoy it too. If you want to hear more from us, we do a podcast every week.
Yeah.
Mostly on tabletop gaming. of various kinds.
Yes.
Also, occasionally the odd bit of sort of indie video games or
Yeah.
games that you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
We're quite big on playing games with our friends. That's
Yeah.
what we're about.
We like the couch co-op side of things.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily co-op, it's couch chaos, but it's
Yes, Couch Chaos. We should have a series called Couch Chaos,
Yes.
where we murder each other,
fine. Yeah.
possibly with furniture. So we do all sorts of bits and pieces, and we do quite a lot of videos. We've
Yeah.
been unboxing a lot of things recently.
We have, yeah, because we've been buying things.
Yes, and we also review. We also just make sort of random bits and pieces every now and then of whatever
Yeah.
we fancy. So if that sounds good, then please subscribe, because
Yes.
it makes us feel better, and it also means it's easier for other people to find what we do if you like and subscribe,
Yes, please.
which is good. So thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah.
He's been Aaron Ravinsky.
Yeah. And he's probably been Brian Ennis.
That threw you, didn't it? We've never done it that way. And hopefully we will see you again. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, come and see us at the UK Games Expo.
Oh, yeah, we're there. Play
Be our
games with
friends.
us.